Live from America's heartland, this is the Daily Truth Report with your host, Noah Christopher.
Hey, welcome back to the Daily Truth Report, a emergency broadcast, and I really hope you bought the dip in Bitcoin and XRP and silver too. We're going to talk about it all, but this was not a planned show today, but I called up Bo, and Bitcoin has just ripped up $3,000 in the last 10 minutes and said, we got to get on and do a show. So here we go. Welcome everybody, and welcome Bo.
As always, Noah, pleasure to speak with you. And, we're living in biblical days. July was prophesied by Kim Clement to be pretty spectacular. And we're seeing things starting as, today being the important, dates are important here. So today being the 10th of July, the July prophecy was, I, specifically summer, Kim Clement stated, I will prosper my people. We'll play the video later on during this podcast. But, in terms of cycles, we've been waiting for this week of July 4th and then the next 8 days for the past 6 months, Noah. Since I think we've been talking about this since January. It's my book. I think it's page 132 in my book. And again, it's specifically page 132 references the 11th of July. So 7/11, interesting, but it's a key date with regards to calculations. We've, since Noah and I have been talking, we've had many key dates. We've watched a lot of fantastic things transpire. But again, just this year, Noah and I have done podcasts together. We've referenced specifically the importance of April 21. If you watched the videos, that was the death of the Pope. There's the next key date, key date after that was the 4th of July, 3rd into the 4th. And what happened? This massive flooding going on that we'll talk about as well too, but a huge flooding event went down, and that was critical, and that was in Dallas. Specifically, I'm not in Dallas, in Texas, and that was specifically in Kerrville, Texas. And then the next date, and then Trump signed the big, beautiful bill. And then the date from that point was 8 days forward into this Friday, 7/11, July 11th. Again, does something happen? We're going to watch together, but the calculations are indicating, this is a very critical time point as we're now in July.
Yeah, well, in my experience, they love doing big things over the weekend or heading into a weekend. So tomorrow being 7/11 Friday would line up perfectly with that. Let me do a little bit of housekeeping first before we're going to jump into all of this. Both got a lot of new stuff for us, and we're just going to have a little fun today and celebrate because Bitcoin is at 116,200 right now. That's an all-time high. Never been up this high. As I said, it just ripped up about $3,000 in the blink of an eye. XRP is at 255. It's July 10th, and if you're listening to us on July 10th in the afternoon, we're truly live right now. So please give this a like and a share. Right here, like Daryl did, please repost the stream. Please give it a like. That tells the algorithm that you like this, and it'll push it out to more people. And I want everybody to hear this so nobody gets left behind. I think we've got some big things coming, maybe a very electric Friday tomorrow. We'll see. Maybe a very exciting weekend. So let me know if you can see this. Give us a like, a subscribe, and just give me a comment to make sure we're connected everywhere. We should be live on X right now. We should be live on Rumble and live on YouTube. So I'm seeing a lot of comments come in, but just let me know if you're seeing us and hearing us okay, because I don't want you to miss this. This is going to be a party today. This is going to be a lot of fun. So, and who knows, maybe we'll get over 120,000 here live on the stream. That'd be pretty cool. 120,000 Bitcoin price. So, all right, Bo, where do we even begin? Should I pull up your slides?
In a sec. Yeah. So just back to Bitcoin, just to understand what's happening today, right? So Bitcoin's been battling. It was always a battle, as we spoke in the past few months, that $100,000 mark. Okay? It's battling. It will go above 100,000. Everybody was like Christmas time last year, everybody's celebrating, took out 100,000, and then he brought it back down to the 90s. It was battling there. Finally, it got above 100,000. And then now that it's above 100,000, it bounced off 100 a couple of times, but it's been battling that between 110 to 100 has been battling because these are key numbers. And then once it takes out, with 100, 110,000, is going to take it out with a vengeance. And, we've talked about before, when Bitcoin goes, it's like a knife, like a hot knife through butter. So we're stepping into another point right now where we really could see another hot knife event point when it goes straight vertical. So, I'm expecting, the cycle's been pointing to a lot of fantastic things that are coming here for the month of July. We've seen all of June and a little bit of May. There's a couple of cycle points that we could have seen a jump, but all we've seen is anytime there's a possibility of it taking out 110, 111,000, they would bring it back down. So every cycle they would top it out and it wouldn't let it run. And finally, we've broken vertical here. And it's interesting that it's at this key time point because, again, we've stated the 248-year calculation ended on specifically. So this is from the Declaration of Independence. This is covenant, people. This is biblical covenant, Declaration of Independence, 248 years. Okay. That's the cycle we're referencing right now, a 248-year cycle. And it ended on July 3rd. Think about that. That's huge. And then then water breaks, massive flooding. And then the next day, Trump signs a big, beautiful bill. And we've said, please go back to our prior podcast. We've said that it's about covenant, and a covenant is with God. God comes in and restores the covenant that was made. And so regardless of what these globalists are trying to do, suppress the price of silver, suppress the price of gold, not let Bitcoin break above 110,000, regardless of everything that they're trying to do, when God intervenes, forget about it. All of what they're planning becomes irrelevant. And that's what we've been waiting for, a moment in time where everything the globalists, the ones that control the finances, the ones that have been manipulating out of everything, that simply for generations have not let silver ever even touch $50, okay? These people who have been manipulating everything, when God shows up on the scene, when it's a biblical event, and the biblical events tie in with biblical calculations, as we've seen with the death of the Pope, okay? When these biblical events manifest, doesn't matter what anybody, with these globalists, any one of these people are trying to hold price down, forget about it. It's game over for them. So we're at a moment in time where we're going to get, it's called the Great Reveal. And that was a prophetic word. It's also, the other word is called the Great Dismantling. Dismantling means it's not like doesn't blow up. It means the big pieces, big chunks are taken out of their plan, and everything begins to fall apart. So their whole plan begins to fall apart and cave in. And so we're at a dismantling time point for the globalists, for Babylon. We're about to see the dismantling. The dismantling specifically ties in with the explosion of silver, gold, and specifically the front runner of always that we've always seen as a front runner is Bitcoin. It's grandpa, okay? And what I mean is it's the coin that the globalists have been buying up secretly, and they don't want the alternate coins to go, so they're manipulating those like crazy. But Bitcoin dictates direction. It dictates price direction. So price direction, we always want to follow Bitcoin. And then I know a lot of people on this channel, a lot of people follow XRP. Understand XRP is like, look at what it's doing. It's finally getting up to the 250 range again. Why? Because Bitcoin's moving. You see, Bitcoin, it determines direction for the other coins. And now that Bitcoin is about to be unleashed, all those that have been waiting for XRP, guess what's about to happen, okay? Guess what's about to happen to the other alternate coins that we've been tracking as well, too. So it's game on. Why? Because 8 days from the 3rd of July is the 11th of July. Now, what's going to transpire? Again, God knows, not me, but we're watching Bitcoin literally from this morning. It was back to that 111,000 just yesterday, today in the morning. And now it's up like $5,000-$6,000 on a single day. Okay. So something's going on, but yet we turn the news on. There's no news, right? Because what have Noah and I have always said? The cycles, they precede the events. So who cares what the events are? It's like when Noah and I did a podcast in November of the year 2020, where at the beginning of the month, or was October of 2020, of 2022, actually, 2020, the year 2022, Bitcoin's going to crash November 8th of the year 2022. We said that in October, and it crashed on November 8th. We didn't know what it was, but next thing you know, we found out there's the FTX scandal. What I'm saying is the cycle is set for a Bitcoin price move. And I mean move, fun, exciting, not even fun, historic. We're about to see something, again, probably another one of those moments of a hot knife through butter, and it's to the upside. So we're about to see biblical events transpire in the financial sector again. And this move is going to be of a magnitude that we've never seen probably before. So we're at this is literally a shifting time point for the birthing of the golden age. And the golden age is going to involve specifically cryptocurrencies as transactional instruments. It's going to directly involve gold and silver. And again, we've seen what happened in Texas. We've seen the big, beautiful bill sign, but we haven't seen one thing, Noah. You know, we haven't seen something physical where just right now we're beginning to see Bitcoin break out to new highs. And that's really exciting. But the marker for me, the marker that I am watching with full on radar of what I'm watching, the key element is silver ripping through vertically, just blowing through $50. It's never touched $50. In 1980, it was 49 and change. In 2011, it was 49 and change. It's never touched $50. And we're about to watch a moment in time. And I believe we're going to see this here because we've been waiting for it. We've been waiting and waiting. But finally, lo and behold, we come to realize that it's actually tied in with a biblical calculation of the 248-year ending and the new covenant. So we could see tomorrow, the 11th, maybe, would it happen, or maybe next week, early next week. But this month of July is looking so incredible for $50 just being blown vertical and taken out. It'll be a biblical marker. And why? Why is that a marker for the birthing of this golden age that Trump has referenced? Why is it a marker? Because the explosion of silver will be the marker that the globalists, this is really important, the ones that control the financial system, it will be the marker that they are beginning to lose control. That's what this is about. They've been controlling everything with the financial system, okay? And so as long as they control the finances, they control everybody and everything. When we see silver blow vertically through $50, it's screaming biblically. The globalists, the financial controllers are finally losing control. And this is the birthing of the golden age. So that's the marker. Everybody is focused and keep your eyes, as exciting Bitcoin is, okay? And then the alternate coins, they're going to be super exciting too, okay? And as exciting as all of this is, you know, we're seeing Bitcoin move. XLM is front running actually even XRP right now. XRP is about to go. All these altcoins are about to go, but the marker for everything is silver breaking 50, because when that goes, watch the alternate coins. Oh, are they going to go as well too? So what a blessed time to be alive and watch all this go down. So I just wanted to give that as an introduction because it's so important to understand the marker. The marker is that silver and $50 when they lose control of, and silver blows through 50. Oh, is it going to get exciting?
All right. We are live with Bo Polny. So if you're hearing us, give us a like and subscribe. That helps push us out to more people. We've got hundreds of people on with us right now and growing. So you're doing your job. Keep it up. And we will take questions too. So if you're connected with us, if you have a question for Bo, we won't take questions. Bo will take questions. And if you have a question for Bo, put it in the chat and we'll try and get that featured here. So Well, Bo.
Also, actually, Noah, since we're chatting, probably the best place to start. Let's cue up the video I sent you about summer, and then we'll get into the slides. But the video is actually, it's like, forget like my opinion, okay? Because the charts are what I'm revealing is what Lord shows me. But let's look at second witness, okay? What are other prophets saying? Let's look at what Kim Clement has been saying for since 2014, or was it 2013, whenever it was, but let's go back 10 years. Let's listen to a current prophet, Carolyn Dennis. Let's look at what the prophetic is saying, and let's try to put pieces together, because again, that's what understanding revelation is people, all of us putting pieces together. But again, the prophetic is very important to listen to, because why? It's God telling us what is going to happen. And then it's all hidden in a mystery. So we got to figure out, put the pieces together. And I think I've done a pretty good job in trying to put a lot of these pieces together. So I think this video is going to be pretty self-explanatory on what I think we are about to watch with our own eyes this July and August. So go ahead and play that video if you can. No, I think it'd be pretty exciting for us.
Yeah, I'll play it in just a second. I got it all queued up. But I just wanted to say, Bo, just to your credit, and I don't have a slide for it, but you mentioned it a little bit in your intro there, but to kind of toot your horn a little bit for you, for anybody that gets your newsletter, it's been incredible. Like you said, there's a couple time points we were watching and they just kept suppressing, but you've been saying for a long time in your newsletter, now that we're kind of in hindsight looking back, you've been saying watch July 4th through the 11th as the key time window. And we're square in that right now. So I just wanted to say kudos to you for that, and give you a little credit so you don't have to do it yourself. And anyone that gets the newsletter knows that. You can go back and check the old episodes, or if you want to join Bo's newsletter, I'll put the link for that later on in the interview. But if you want to join it, when you join the newsletter, you get access to all the old episodes. So you can go back and look at those, and you can see Bo's been talking about, he's been shouting it from the last 2 or 3 updates. He's been saying, watch July 4th through the 11th. This is our window. This is the America window and the boom window. So just wanted to say kudos on that, Bo. And for anybody that wants your newsletter, we'll talk more about it later, but gold2020forecast.com. And if you're listening to my voice right now, Bo's going to offer you a 50% off discount. You just type in WLT49, and that's going to get you 50% off of the newsletter. You can go in and read all the old episodes, and then you'll get all the new episodes. So, all right, Bo.
Let me just add this as well too, with regards to the newsletter. Those who have it, or those who want to get it, but basically even my current subscribers, go back and just to a little shout out to my current subscribers. Thank you, God bless all of you. But again, go back the past 1-2 months, and you'll see that we've been saying in the report, it's always been watch somewhere between starting the 4th into about the 10th, 11th. It's about to get wild. This is where it all begins. And you're right. There was a couple time points that we could have seen that jump vertical. It didn't. They kept holding it down. But it's actually, when you hindsight, it's actually rather fascinating, because if when it breaks vertical and makes new all-time highs after the 4th, how perfect is that? It marks the birth of a new era, because they would never let it happen in the old age, right? And so now, as the 4th is now hit, and we're past the 4th, and we're in that 8-day window between the 3rd and the 11th, boom. Next thing you know, Bitcoin just literally blows vertical and goes $5,000 just today on the 10th. So this is the birthing process right now, and it's the birthing process will be marked with historic financial moves, because finances are key, because the finances is the flipping of the scales. If you study scriptures and history, the flipping of the scales is what happens when God intervenes. That's critical. Remember, when Israel, the best example I can give everybody in the Bible, probably the most epic financial transfer occurred when Israel departed Egypt. They left with all the gold and the silver. But before that happened, there was something biblical, the angel of death moment. In other words, I still believe, well, I know the angel of death is going to strike this year. Now, when it happens, all of these big strikes are biblical secrets, because God can't reveal all the details because he doesn't want the enemy to know. But I'm telling you, there's something coming. It's called the Great Reveal, which means, like we just saw, all the nothing burger they declared with Epstein, right? But I'm just telling you, it's all smoke and mirrors, because this July is called the Great Reveal. It's the Great Reveal, not the Great Hiding. Okay. So I don't care what the news media is saying. The prophecy, God has spoken that July is the Great Reveal. He spoke those words through Carolyn Dennis. And this ties in with a historic price explosion on silver, which is supposed to happen here. This is going to mark, that explosion marks them beginning to lose control. And in order for that to happen, Israel and Egypt firstborn were all dead in the morning. So what happened overnight? Does something happen overnight tonight? Or maybe this weekend, Noah? Or maybe Monday or Tuesday next week? What happens? But something's about to go down right here. Something's about to go down that's going to cause gold and silver, specifically silver, to just leap. And in order for it to do that, again, cycles precede events. So what's the event? You see, but that's the mystery, the hidden mystery, because God's not going to reveal the event, how this plays out. But there's an event that's about to go down, and that event then causes the biblical explosion of silver straight through $50. And so all of this is tied in with the financial system, the flipping of the financial scales. And again, that's third seal of Revelation. But yeah, so the Bitcoin index that we've had, we've been talking about how critical the window from the 4th of July into the 11th is. We've been talking about it for 2 months, okay? And now, lo and behold, boom, right on schedule, Bitcoin jumped $5,000 today. Again, it wasn't, this was expected. I guess that's the word I want to use. What's happening today is not unexpected. It's actually expected. And that's the exciting part, because this year, this summer, this into the fall is going to be historic. And we haven't even seen the altcoins rip vertical yet, have we, Noah? We haven't seen the altcoins go yet, okay? And they're going to go, and it's going to be awesome to watch. So we're about to watch the greatest financial event in human history. And all of this has been prophecy. That's the crazy, okay? I don't even want glory for this, because it's all glory goes to God always, right? But God actually prophesied this. He prophesied this. We're going to play the video through Kim Clement in 2013. But this is a thing I've realized about prophecy. The prophecy is true because Kim Clement was a true prophet. But here's the deal. He was the Elijah. He was the first prophet prophesying, but it's not until the second witness, the second prophet, comes in and witnesses what the first prophet stated. And now the second prophet is now restated what the first prophet has said, which means this is go time.
Yeah, well, Bo, you mentioned the altcoins, and you're right, they haven't really taken off yet, but just a little teaser. Bo has some pretty incredible targets in his newsletter for XRP, and everyone knows that's my favorite coin. I can't tell you what to do, but and I can't give that information live here on the show because that's private for subscribers. But let's just say if you're into XRP, you might want to check that out, because there's some pretty exciting numbers in there, Bo. I love checking out that section every time you release a new newsletter.
Yeah, I've done the long-term charts on XRP, and I know the targets are going to hit pretty close, so I'm not worried about it. But the main thing is with XRP, when the targets hit, I'm selling all of it. I'm dumping all of my XRP because it's going to tank afterwards. There's going to be a huge market event because remember, the globalists are not going to allow the finances to keep running. Okay, they're going to go, and it's going to be a biblical move. And when the targets are getting hit, they're all going to get hit. Different targets are going to get hit at different times. And once the targets are hit, Noah, we're set up for a historic financial crash after the target. So personally, I'm going to be writing very clearly in the newsletter what I will be doing, but I'm dumping everything, and then I'm going to buy back in on the fire sale. Yeah,
that's me too. And who knows? I might just be retired after that, and this might be our last show, Bo. You never know. All right. Well, hey, I got this video queued up. You want me to play it?
Go for it.
All right, here we go, everybody. This is a video that Bo put together, and Here we go.
Today, I will expose, I will reveal, for you have entered into a time and a season of undercover, where I will bring out from the covers the truth. For there have been too many lies, one lie after the other, covered in high national positions. There are two E's that I see. One E is the word erupt. The other is earthquake. A volcano as a sign. And then there will be another earthquake, says the Lord. Keep your eyes open, for this sign is to cause the earth to yield of its produce, that the great E may come forth rapidly. Summer reaches to spring and to fall. I will be the mediator, says summer. My sun will shine. Yet beneath the earth, there is a rage. Eruptions. Summer says, why choose they me? Why do the tornadoes, the hurricanes choose me? I am summer. I bring smiles. I bring sunshine. I bring warmth.
This year will be a cleansing year, and summer, oh summer, as my beloved prophet Kim said, this is that summer. Wait and see.
I am summer. I bring smiles. I bring sunshine. I bring warmth. Yet there is a tumultuous rendering that is coming. I stand to protect spring, but fall, you are rebelling. Or is it that possibly the Spirit of God will cause many to fall in fall? And I will start from the top. I have shaken the Democrats and will shake the Republicans even more. But remember, when these tremors and when these tumultuous moments happen, Summer says, I will take it so that the fall can do its work in America. Summer, take it. For thus says the Lord, I will prosper my people. I will prosper my people. And during the fall there shall be many that shall fall, and many that shall rise from the dust. For the summer shall bring forth much in the temperatures.
So this summer shall be the hottest by far. The heat will bring the natural storms, and my heat will bring the cleansing.
Strange July, strange July.
From creation to the birth of Jesus to the Declaration of Independence was divine calculations to the exact year. From the Declaration of Independence, 248 years takes you to the year 2024, July. This right now is the year 248, which means that the year 248 ends when? Right there, it's in yellow, the July 3rd, 2025.
You kept saying July 3rd, July 3rd, July 3rd. I'm like, that's the day of the dismantling tour. And Robin Bullock kept saying, this is the closing of the book. This is the turning of the page. We are moving on from what has been. We're moving on from a season of war. And he said, like, this date is important. This date is important. This date is important. So July 4th, 2025, he says, marks the first day of the new chapter that we are heading into.
So we're stepping into a time of my glory shall fill the earth. Numbers 14:21. The glory brings miracles.
Hypnotic November and oh Christmas, where winter shall say, and me, I will make them happy. For God says, I have chosen each season to manifest something. My will shall be done, and it shall come to pass.
This nation shall be cleansed like my land after a good rain. I am cleansing the USA and all of my world. My storm is coming through man, through arrest, indictments, drug bust of cartels, and tribunals and executions. It is all coming to a theater near you, right on your very own TV.
I was muted. There we go. Yeah, great video, Bo. I tell you what, Kim Clement, he was incredible, of course. We all know that. But he was really on a roll in that 2012 to 2014 time frame. I just covered yesterday how I'm sure you've probably seen this, but in 2012 and 2013, he said at some point in the future there'll be a new political party called the America Party, and that's what just rolled out with Elon. And I know there's kind of a tip over that right now, but I don't know if that doesn't if Elon and Trump don't come back together at some point and that thing really takes off. So really interesting stuff.
Well, that's the thing, prophecy is so fun because if the prophecy is true, no man can stop what's coming. In other words, when God speaks, he doesn't lie, okay? He cannot lie. So when he speaks a prophecy, when he speaks through a prophet, it's actually it's already it's going to manifest. You just need to wait for the time for it to happen. But that's where his prophecies were spoken 2, 3, 5,000 years ago, right? The Balum prophecy 3,500 years ago is reference to the Star of Jacob. So the Balum prophecy 3,500 years ago, a donkey speaks to Balaam or Balum. This is a 3,500 year prophecy that takes us talking about the Star of Jacob, which was September of last year. 40 weeks to the exact day was the 3rd of July. So in other words, what's happening right now is actually a calculation going back to 3,500 years, the time of Moses and the Balum prophecy. How wild is this? And again, because the prophecy was true, no man can stop it. It's just a matter of when it's going to manifest. Lo and behold, are you kidding me? We are blessed to watch the manifestation of a 3,500 year old prophecy with our own eyes. It's about to start. It's starting right now. It's beginning here right now between the 4th of July and into Rosh Hashanah, which will be end of September 2025 this year. So we're in this massive shifting window time point where God's things are shifting. The globalists began to freak out because truths are coming out. This is the freak out sessions are about to start right now. It's going to be awesome to watch. People are like, well, how come we haven't seen anything? Oh, no, we're going to see it. And it's going to be wild to begin to watch this stuff as it's going down. And again, it just all markers. There will be signs in page 7. There will be signs in the sun and the moon and the stars. And so we're watching the signs manifesting right in front of us. And what are some of the signs? Okay, well, let's go through. Page 7 specifically talks about, we've referenced Noah and I did podcasts last April, numerous podcasts. What were we talking about in April? We were talking specifically about the eclipse. The eclipse specifically, what was the eclipse? It was on April, and everyone thinks, we're going to get raptured and all kinds of stuff is going to happen on the eclipse, and nothing. Why? Because Noah, we said in that podcast with Noah that it's going to be 7 months where the events go down. Lo and behold, boom, Trump wins to the exact day. What a coincidence. When you zoom in on that little globe right there, that's the eclipse. There is another eclipse that happened specifically when? That eclipse happened the year before. And so it made an X. Guess where the X was formed? Right over Kerrville, Texas.
Oh, wow.
To the exact mark. How is this happening? There's an exact X that's formed with 2 eclipses over Kerrville, and Kerrville, Texas is a river called Guadalupe. Kerrville, Texas has a cross, which is 77 feet and 7 inches tall. The day of the flooding, guess what the temperature was in all of Texas? 77 degrees. The Guadalupe, remember the death of the Pope? Noah and I've covered this in the past couple podcasts. Audience Hall, remember Audience Hall? Noah pulled up a bunch of slides of Audience Hall. What is it? It's a total serpent, right, Noah? Audience Hall is a serpent. Well, guess what? This is the death of the serpent. So Kim Clement prophesied the spirit of Pythos. Pythos is a serpent, a python. The begins to be destroyed in America on Resurrection Sunday. Oh, the death of the Pope, which is specifically related to Audience Hall. And then Guadalupe River. No, this is crazy because the meaning of Guadalupe is the crushing of the head of the serpent. What the heck? Think about that, right? So we've got the Pope related to the biblical calculation. Now we got the Guadalupe River related, so yes, there were, unfortunately, remember, Christ comes to give us life more abundantly. But at the Guadalupe River, there was flooding, okay? That was death. Well, John 10:10 says the devil comes to kill, steal, and destroy, okay? So the Guadalupe River, the flooding, that was kill and destroy, okay? That had nothing to do with God, but God knew that the devil was going to do it and where he was going to do it. So therefore, he set the stage thousands of years ago for an eclipse to actually mark the spot. Think about that. God set up an eclipse to actually mark the spot where the flood's going to occur. This is all wild. God knew all this already. Just like God knew what the Nephilim were going to do. So he put water in the ground. And so he caused a great flood to break open all the water shut from the ground, from the inside of the earth. So all of God's knowing what the evil's already doing before they even do it. That's why the God calls the devil, you know what he calls him? The forever loser. How great a name is that for the devil, right? The forever loser. And so all of this, God knew. It's all in the details. The Kerrville, Texas, 77 degrees, cross 77 feet, 7 inches tall. All of this is in the details. And that ties in directly with the water breaking. And guess what happened the next day, right before fireworks? Trump comes in and signs the big, beautiful bill, and the golden age is beginning to be birthed.
Oh, yeah.
Boom. On the mark. And then within 8 days of that is the 11th of July. And that takes us to slide 18. And slide 18 is the slide that's in my book. Many of these slides are in my book, but slide 18 specifically is on page 132. And there it is right there, one up there, the new era. There it is. And so the July 11th, 2025, new covenant. So again, I don't know what this means because today's only the 10th, but it's interesting. We're seeing Bitcoin jump 5,000, making new all-time highs, front running something that's, I believe, about to happen with precious metals. So what a blessed time to be alive. We're watching historic things about to go down. And all of this is specifically the fall and the dismantling, because that on the 3rd of July. Oh, yeah. And then God actually, through Robin Bullock, arranged, and I was there actually at this event. It was called the Dismantling Tour. And that's the name that God gave it to Robin Bullock to call this event, the Dismantling Tour. And God actually told him to do it on the 3rd of July. How does that happen?
Yeah, incredible.
How does all of this happen? Because it's all in God's perfect timing, and it's all by God's design. So I just want to emphasize the importance of God's design in all of this. God's in all of the details. He wrote the details. And we are now stepping into the birth of a new era. And actually, we can kind of start wrapping it up here. If you go to page 14, or actually page 15, we've talked about this before, but we could be stepping into a time of darkness. I thought it would be potentially, it could have been between the 1st and the 4th of July. But again, there's still a 3 to 4 day of darkness happening. This is, I believe, is going to be tying in with the explosion of silver. So this is a market turmoil. So we could see this still sometime maybe next week in July somewhere. But when silver jumps and blows through $50, okay, that's an event the globalists do not, the financial controllers, they do not want that to happen. So the only thing they can do when this happens is shut everything down. So don't be surprised that things can go dark very quickly for a short window of time, okay? But specifically, this time point is written Isaiah 61. Isaiah 61 references 2 words. It says the year of the Lord's favor and the day of vengeance. The year began on July 4th. And it will continue into next July 3rd, 4th of 2026. So we are in the year of Jubilee right now. This is it. And the second part is a day of vengeance. Now that's going to be interesting because that ties in with, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, but that ties in with Joel 2:31, the great and the terrible day of the Lord. And I believe that's going to tie in with videos we played in the past. And it ties in with specific, my best understanding would be most likely the next feast. The next feast is Rosh Hashanah. And that's the head of the year. And that takes us into the end of September. So I believe between now and the end of September, boy, it's going to be wild time with eruptions, earthquakes, global elite freaking out because of the truths that are coming out. And it's just going to be, it was called a hot summer, hot in terms of heat and hot on the globalists because they are got some major major heat of exposure on them. So between now into Rosh Hashanah, the end of September, it's going to be an enjoyable ride for things that are, happening here in this world. And we're all watching together. But it's such a blessing to be here with you, Noah, and kind of just summarize the events that we've seen transpire. And all of these events are literally biblical calculations that, the Lord revealed, that we've actually I put into a book. And we're just waiting for that explosion right now. Like, there's your silver chart. Your resistance, the weekly resistance is 3650. And as we talk right now, I think it's above 3650. So, or it's right there. So I'm just
37.
telling you, what's it right now? 37.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. A close above on a daily close above 3650. You just did it today, and if it does it on Friday, forget about it. This thing's going to go to 50 in a blink of a second. Through 50. So there's no more resistance. This thing is set to go, and it's going to be biblical. But the best part about it is this is the loss of control of the globalists, the money changers that go back to the time of Jesus. This is that time point where the money changers begin to lose control. And then that ties us into with later, we'll talk about the fall time as well. But, this is the flipping of the scales, the hunter, they become the hunted. And it's going to be a wild, wild ride. So, so all I can say is I hope people have listened to myself with, our podcast with Noah and I get together. We've been very clear about what's, direction of cryptocurrencies, direction of silver. We've been on the mark on this for years now. And it hasn't even exploded yet. That's the crazy, awesome part. So we are in for the ride of a lifetime. Go ahead, Noah.
Yeah, well, I put this slide on the screen here because you've had this slide in your slide deck for probably a couple years now. You've been saying that, and then just recently, maybe a week or so ago, there was that clip, and I don't have it up right now, but President Trump was talking to reporters, and he said, I've been the hunted, and now maybe I'm going to be the hunter. And it's just so cool. And you've had this in here for probably about 2 years.
Wild. Think about what he said, right? I've been hunted. Now I become the hunter. Whoa.
Yeah.
And then, so where is that in scripture? So remember what Trump just said. This is in Jeremiah 30, because Jeremiah talks about Jacob's trouble. Remember, the Balum prophecy was 1,000 years before Jeremiah. So Jeremiah, the Balum prophecy was referencing the star of Jacob. Jeremiah talks about Jacob's trouble 1,000 years later. And in Jeremiah 30, verse 16, it says, all who devoured you, you shall now devour. All of your foes, every one of them, shall go into captivity. They will go into captivity. Those who plundered you, you shall now plunder. And all who preyed upon you, I will make your prey. Jeremiah was an incredible prophet. He was there for the fall of Babylon and the fall of Israel. He prophesied to Israel, stop what you're doing because the temple is going to fall, the second collapse of the temple. And they didn't want to listen. They threw him in jail. And yet everything Jeremiah said came to pass. This prophecy is true and real, and we're going to witness it come to pass come this fall. All glory to God. And that's, again, takes it to the sifting of the wheat and the tares, the great and terrible day of the Lord. This is, the wheat are God's church, and the tares are the evil ones. And they fall and fall. That's the prophecy. And the God will separate the wheat from the tares. This is not the return of Christ. This is my glory shall fill the earth. And when the glory comes on the earth, evil can't stand. And evil's taken out and removed.
Yeah, well, Bo, this next slide here has your book, and I know you mentioned you've got July 11th actually directly in the book, and this has been out for a while. So I'll make sure wherever you're watching this, we'll get a link to that down below. You can or you get these slides, and there's a link to it right in the slides on slide 33. It's a great book to put on your coffee table. And
yeah, just to pause right there, that book. See, all of those, there's dates for all those things. Every one of those have a date. That's the crazy part. All based on the 248 calculation that we just used to calculate the death of the Pope, used to calculate the 4th of July, used to calculate the Star of Jacob, used to calculate the Declaration of Independence. Those are all markers of time. And so the book's got all of those dates. How wild is this?
Yeah, very cool. Well, grab that if you don't have a copy yet. I know a lot of you already do. And then Bo, well, let me just say this before we're starting to wrap up here. So if you have a question, drop it in the chat. I'll try and get it to Bo. But Bo, I think there couldn't be a more perfect time or a more perfect day to talk about your newsletter. You, of course, give us so much information here for free, and then you online for free, and your slides are free. But if there are people that would like to get more detailed information, and I know a lot of you already get this, but if you don't have Bo's newsletter, don't subscribe to it, and you'd like to, I can get you 50% off. You're going to go to gold2020forecast.com, and when you sign up, there's a look for the box that says, "Do you have a code, promo code?" And you're going to type in WLT49. That's going to give you 50% off, and you can get in there and read. I love telling people, go read the old reports, read the last 2 or 3, and you can see July 4th through 11th is in there every single time. And then you get the new ones too. Every couple days or so, Bo releases a new update with what he's seeing. And it could be a very hot next 30 days. Let's just say that. So, and I think, Bo, I heard somewhere Bitcoin has never had a down month in July ever, just for whatever reason. Statistically speaking, Bitcoin loves July. So we are in the prime of it right now. Very, very cool. And then for other people, if because I hear this a lot too, and I know this has helped a lot of people over the years.
Just before you go to next topic, before you go there, with Bitcoin, this is important. 2 years ago, and in every single newsletter, this is important. Every single newsletter, and Noah, I know you can verify. Every single newsletter for the past 2 years, we nailed to the exact day the crash in November of the year 2022. There's like 700,000 or 800,000 views on that video. That's on the Noah's Rumble channel.
Yep.
Then every single newsletter has been written this day, which we nailed the exact bottom. Crazy what it was on the cycle. Starts a multi-year bull run. This is in there. Into the year 2025. It's all in there. It's been there since November of 2022. This has been written in every single newsletter. It starts a bull run, multi-year bull run, into the year 2025. We're in the year 2025. And it will hit a final cycle top. I will be dumping all of my positions this year because what's coming is a huge move to the upside. And I'm just telling you that those that are, want to know the cycles in this. It's been written for 3 years in my newsletter, every single newsletter. And it's pointing to what's about to happen. And then when the spike comes, and it's going to go crazy, and the numbers that are going to come are going to be epic. Okay. But once the numbers hit, it's over. And then it's set up for a historic financial collapse, because this then sets the events for the year 2026, which is a historic bond market collapse, real estate collapse, like horrible. But at the same time, too, those who are positioned, have God's money, gold and silver, cryptocurrencies, boy, are you going to be blessed. So when I say, so after I exit my positions, I will it's going to be another fire sale, just like we had seen in November of the year 2022. And when the sale hits, that's when I'll be repositioning and then join the ride back up again. And then it's going to be another epic run, because the next off that move, okay, the next target for Bitcoin, this is, not my opinion. And I've specifically heard a couple prophets state this, but I'm going to give major credence and credit to my good friend, Pastor Manuel Johnson. And I will fully agree with what what God revealed to him is the next, after this price spike and then crash, then the next bull market begins. Okay. The next bull market on Bitcoin takes it to somewhere in the range of $1 million.
Ooh. Oh yeah. You know what, Bo? We got to get Manny back on, do another show with both of you.
Sure. Yeah. I love him. Nice man.
Yeah, let's do that next time, and that'll be fun. And talk a little Bitcoin, talk some XRP, because he's had some incredible XRP. I guess you would say visions given to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, if you want those detailed dates that Bo just talked about, because it's gonna get fun, but it's gonna get wild. And a roller coaster is fun, but it goes up and it goes way down, and it goes up and it goes way down. So if you want the details on those dates of that roller coaster, you can get it at gold2020forecast.com, and make sure you don't miss out with 50% off. Just type in WLT49. What else you got, Bo? Hey, what? I always appreciate you giving so many freebies on here, and Bo just gave you guys some major free information that is pretty cool. So thank you, Bo.
I can finish with this. God has a plan, and it's to take down the globalists, take down Babylon. It's been written in prophecy for thousands of years. We're blessed to be here to watch it go down. And it's all about the destruction of the financial system. This is critical because they use the money to build Babylon. Okay.
Yep.
And so the jubilee is the destruction of debt. And the Kim Clement prophecy was death to debt. Okay. Credit cards, mortgages, student loans, that's debt. Okay. Death to it. And guess when death happens? Oh, in a jubilee year.
Mm-hmm.
Leviticus. Okay. So this is that time point where there's going to be a death of the financial system, not the financial system, but the death to debt, crashing of the dollar. Again, the financial system is still going to be existing. It's just going to be crippled. And then Trump's going to come in with a new one, which is going to be spectacular, because that's going to be the rise of God's financial system backed by gold and silver in the golden age. It's that simple. But we have to watch all the pieces play out. We're going to have to see how the pieces fit. But the golden age cannot exist with a debt-based money system. Okay? Babylon, God's golden age, God's golden kingdom, golden age cannot and will not exist with a slavery system, a debt-based slavery system, which means that has to die. The Federal Reserve System has to die.
No kidding.
And then what has to be birthed opposite that is a financial system backed by gold and silver. I believe it's going to be out of the Treasury. However, it doesn't matter how it all plays out. Trump's got to put that together. That's why he's there to put it all together. But the death of Babylon's Federal Reserve System is what's right in front of us.
Yeah,
the time is now set. 4th of July is now passed. We're about to witness the beginning of the death of Babylon's financial system, and the beginnings of the birth of a new financial system that's going to be backed by gold and silver, an honest money system. And that will ultimately make America the strongest financial nation in the world, backed by the strongest military in the world in the golden age. Watch and see, because that prophecy will come to pass. So thank you, Noah, for having me here.
I can't think of any better way to end it. Thank you, Bo, and we'll have you back on again soon. This has been a real fun one, just a little victory lap and celebration, but only kind of the beginning of it. So we'll have you back on soon, Bo. Be good, and thanks for being here. Bye, everybody.